you doing? Huh? It's not time to eat. It's not time to eat yet. No, it's not. Hi. Hi, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Morgan Hill Farms. So you can see behind me that we have 4 new additions here. My one goat gave me twin boys about 2 weeks ago, and then the other goat gave me twin girls 1 week ago. So we have 4 little babies here that we are bottle feeding, and they are super cute and so fun. We've kind of just been in the house today, getting a few things done. I have about 80 pounds of apples that I brought in from Azure Standard that I have to process and get into jars and things like that. But we do have to get out down to the garden and look at a few things. And so all the kids are gonna come out with me today and just sort of help me. I've been really good at prepping the kids and letting them know, hey, I'm gonna ask you to come outside today and do a little stuff. And so it's actually been going really well this year. I've been taking a lot of the work off of me solely, and we're kind of spreading it out among everybody. So it's been great. So we're gonna go down to the blueberry area first. So a couple of months ago, I put a video out on our blueberries. We've had these guys in here. This is the 3rd year, and they never really did great. They'd give us a few blueberries here and there, but the leaves were never green. They were always sort of like red or orange. And anyway, so I ended up doing a bit of research this year, and we found out that the problem was the acidity. We weren't putting enough agricultural sulfur down, which is a soil acidifier, and blueberries really need it super acidic. And so this year we are actually getting beautiful big blue blueberries. Now they're just starting to come into season now, and some of the plants aren't quite ready yet, but you'll see that this plant is nice and green. There's no odd colors like red or yellow or orange that would signify that it can't take up the nutrients that it needs. And Nate actually just finished irrigating this whole area. I think that was another one of the problems, was that we just didn't have enough water here. In the summer times we tend to stay pretty dry, but now with the irrigation we'll end up running this about 2 to 3 times a week, because even if my plants could take up nutrients, if there's not enough water in the soil, that's another reason why they might not be able to take up nutrients. So we've really been focusing on making sure that the soil is acidic enough, as well as fertilizing these guys, and I think it has finally paid off for us. So you can kind of see here in front of me that we have these trenches. When Nate was doing the irrigation for the garden and the animals, he also came down to this area and trenched everything with a trencher that we had rented. And then he ran 3/4 inch PVC pipe into all of these areas, which he connected up at the well house. And then from these, he has connections that will run drip line to all of our fruit trees and all of our blueberries in here. So this is gonna be an awesome thing to have this year. I think it's really gonna help with our fruit production. All right, so we're gonna go into the main garden here. So I've got everybody down here with me today, and I wanted to get over here before I kind of lost everybody's attention span and they kind of just wandered back up to the house. But we've got a bunch of strawberries that we're gonna be harvesting. We do have some chamomile here. Kind of looks like it's on its way out, but we've actually been able to get a pretty good harvest off of this. We also have some snap peas behind me here that need to be harvested. I do have a row of green peas, and I feel like we've harvested most of those, but we are gonna check those really quick, make sure we didn't miss anything. So these are all my onion beds here. This one and this one have my big bulbing onions in it. And you're gonna see that I'm actually starting to get some really good bulbs on these. When I planted them, I originally fertilized them with some phosphorus and also some nitrogen. And then I went ahead and did the high nitrogen fertilizer again. But now that they're starting to bulb up, you don't wanna fertilize anymore. You just kinda wanna let these guys do their thing and just kinda walk away from them. But at this point, I'm just waiting for them to fall over, the tops to fall over, and that's when I'll know that these are ready to be harvested. Now, if you do notice that these start to go to flower, which you'll basically just see like a bulby type thing up here and it'll start to flower, it's not going to give any more energy to the bulb at that point, and it's pretty much done its growing as far as the bulb goes. So you just want to pull those. Typically when you do your onion plants from seed or from plants, you're not going to run into that as much. When you do them from the sets that you might buy at a garden center or at Lowe's or Home Depot, sometimes those bulbs can get confused and they'll go straight to flower. They kind of think they're in their 2nd year, because onions are they're biennials, I believe, where they flower in that 2nd year. But anyways, yeah, so we're just kind of waiting for these guys to fall over and we'll start harvesting these. The rest of these beds are all shallots, which are long day onions. So we're in South Carolina, zone 8A, and we need short day onions here in order to get those nice bulbs that I was showing you before in these other beds. These shallots are pretty much all long day onions. We don't have the day length here for long day onions to bulb up, but I have seen where people have been successful growing shallots in the South, and these have the potential to store for 7 to 8 months, where my bulbing onions are just gonna rot in about 2 months after I harvest those guys. So I really wanted to see if I could find a storage onion this year, but I think these guys are looking pretty good. These blackberries behind me are starting to get ready. You can see a few of them are turning color from that light green to a red, and then they'll go to black and we'll be ready to harvest them. But these guys are going crazy this year. Another thing that I've been keeping an eye on is my garlic. So I planted 3 beds in November and I planted a 4th bed in December, just because I was worried I may not have enough garlic coming in this year. But the way that you tell when your garlic is ready is that you're going to look at the bottom 3 to 4 leaves. I pretty much look at the bottom 3 leaves. When they start to turn brown and crinkly and die off, that's when you know you want to harvest. If you wait until most of your leaves and your stalk is all brown and papery, the problem is you're going to pull that garlic up and you're going to see that that paper wrapper around the bulb is going to start to disintegrate, and you're going to see that a lot of your cloves are exposed. So if you've waited too long to harvest your garlic, that's okay. You're not going to be able to dry that and store it like you would a whole head of garlic, but what you can do is you can peel those cloves, you can mince them up, put them in some olive oil and individually freeze that in ice cube trays, and then you're just going to add that to your recipes when you need it. You can also dehydrate those in slices or minced up, or you can dehydrate those and powder them so that you have like a garlic powder. I planted my eggplant about a month ago, and these guys are starting to look a lot better. When I brought them down here, they had a lot of flea beetle damage, which are tiny little black bugs that jump. And so that's why they call them a flea beetle. And you'll see that that looks pretty lousy. But you can see that the top leaves are really looking a lot better. I feel like once I brought them down here, all those little flea beetles just kind of dispersed. So that was great. Oh, and I see someone over here. So that's a Colorado potato beetle, and they will eat your tomatoes and your eggplant, but what they really love are your potatoes. This bed here had a huge infestation with them, and we spent quite a bit of time picking off all those individual beetles and their babies, but I feel like we're starting to actually get a little bit recovered from that, so I don't think we'll have a problem as far as harvest from these. Did we get many strawberries today?
No, we got like 3.
Where are they?
I ate them.
You ate them? Okay. Look, can you get all those sugar snap peas over there, because no one else can reach them? Okay.
You know I'm like 5'4", right?
You're not 5'4", go. Okay, well this is quite the surprise. I was just coming over here just to see if we had any pest pressure on our cucumbers here. They obviously look like they need to be fertilized. They're a little yellow, but we actually have some cucumbers that are ready. They're a smidge small, but I'm gonna take them anyways. These are a pickling variety, so you wanna pick these smaller anyways. So this type of damage here on a cucumber, this is from a squash beetle. So not a squash bug, but a squash beetle. And they're sort of like an orangey yellow with black spots. And typically, if you see this, you can look on the underside of the leaves, and they're usually hanging out down there. But we may have gotten down here a little bit late. In the morning is a really great time to try to find bugs if you're trying to keep those guys under control in your garden here. Oh my gosh, we missed that one. Wow. Thanks, babe. What do you think, Dominic? Catch it. All right, here, let me see. All right, let's go over to the camera. Come on, you gotta, there's just a few more. You can finish up what the girls didn't get. You take it like this in your hand and you just sort of like pop the head off, okay? That's all you want. You don't want the stem, you just want the flower, okay? I'll put it in there for you. I'll put it in. After I had planted my peppers, I did have some pest pressure on these guys, and they looked a little rough for a while. It looked like I had not hardened them off very well. I think it was because they were all in that 10-20 tray and kind of all cramped together that some of them were shading out other ones. So when I hardened them off, the ones in the middle were not quite ready to tolerate the amount of sun they were going to get, but they actually have recovered really, really well. I do have a couple of ones that are itty bitty, This might just be the variety. I did a really lousy job labeling these, so make sure that you label your stuff, otherwise you're not going to know what it is until they start to produce fruit for you. But yeah, these guys are coming along really, really well now. When Nate irrigated the garden last year, he ran this extra pipe here. So basically, this type of 3/4 inch PVC piping is what lies beneath all of my mulch. And then that feeds into the beds, and then that feeds the drip line. But what he did is he actually put a pipe here, and he bought me a big stainless steel sink, and then we're gonna get some type of like a natural countertop, like a stone or something that's not gonna wear with the weather. And he's gonna put a sink in here for me. That way when I harvest things, I will be able to wash them down here instead of bringing all of that dirt up into my main kitchen, because it keeps your house a heck of a lot cleaner if you can have that down here. It's also a great place to be able to dry things, like if you're taking up potatoes and you kind of need those things to dry and brush off the dirt before you get those into the house as well. What'd you get? Are those blueberries?
We went to the blueberry patch.
Oh wow, I want to weigh those and see actually how many
They're
are
really big
in there. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't realize there were that many in there just yet.
Yeah, just like
If you ever plant zinnias in your garden, you'll never have to plant them again because they will just volunteer, which basically just means they come up the next year without you having planted anything. This row is just completely overtaken with them. All of my cabbage is getting really close. A lot of it's ready to be harvested. Some of them are a little bit smaller. So everything is really starting to grow like crazy down here. I came down just a few days ago, and then between that and today, just looking at some of the melon vines and things like that, things are just starting to go crazy. The tomatoes are really picking up. I've got some sunflowers that are blooming. So anyways, yeah, so we're gonna get to work. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed just that little bit of a tour just to see what we've got going on today. But thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next video.